Our movie begins with a cop named John, who is caught by a gang. An elderly Chinese man from the gang bets money that John will escape from the dogs. Afterwards, they throw John to the furious dogs. Suddenly, the Chinese man attacks all members of the gang. It turns out this man is Malcolm, John's colleague. Malcolm has them all under custody thanks to his cleverness. Next, he goes to rescue John from the dogs. The next day, all his co-workers congratulate him at work, and the department head officer informs him that the escaped prisoner Lester needs to be caught, and they gather to discuss how to catch him. News of his escape is broadcast in the news. His girlfriend Sherry sees it and decides to take their son Trent and escape before Lester can reach her. She tells her son that they're going to her big mama's house. Lester was watching them. At the same time, a meeting is taking place at the police station. The chief officer begins talking about Lester, describing him as a dangerous criminal who is not easy to find. He tells them that Sherry, Lester's girlfriend, used to work at the bank he robbed, but there is no evidence against her, even though she was the one who got him the keys to the bank. 12 hours ago, Lester killed a prison's doctor and escaped a maximum security prison. Malcolm and John stake out Sherry's Big Mama's house. Later, all the elderly neighbors, including the Big Mama, gather and congratulate Malcolm and John on their new home, becoming their new neighbors. Meanwhile, Malcolm goes to the Big Mama's house to plant some bugs. And when he's too late, John tries to keep the Big Mama occupied as much as he can before she returns home and finds Malcolm there. At that moment, Malcolm notices his shoe prints all over the house, so he has to wipe them to avoid anyone discovering someone's been in the house. The Big Mama gets upset with John and hits him for entering her house. Malcolm hides in the bathroom, forced to stay there to avoid being discovered. He waits for the right moment and quickly exits the bathroom before being caught returning to the house. At night, Malcolm and John hear the Big Mama receiving a call from her friend informing her she will come over and stay for a week or two. When she leaves the house, Malcolm and John enter to continue planting bugs, microphone used to spy. At this point, the Big Mama gets a call from Sherry, who tells her she's taken a leave and is on her way because she hasn't seen her in a while. Finding out she's not home, Sherry says she won't come, frustrating Malcolm and John because their mission might fail. Malcolm answers the phone, pretending to be Big Mama, telling Sherry to come and make herself comfortable. After hanging up, Malcolm tells John they need to impersonate the Big Mama perfectly. They create a mask identical to her face and a body that is the same as hers. The next day, Sherry and Trent arrive at the house where Malcolm, disguised as the Big Mama, greets them and prepare breakfast. She struggles to cook because Malcolm has never made pie before, creating a bit of chaos. During this time, John notices the Big Mama's mask starting to come off Malcolm's face. He tries to fix it but struggles using regular tape to secure the mask. When Sherry asks why she's wearing tape, Grandma claims it's a beauty secret. Then, the food on the stove catches fire and Malcolm rushes to put it out before the house burns down. Afterwards, she serves them a strangely shaped meal. Shortly after, Ben, a friend of Big Mama's, arrives to visit. Malcolm feels threatened, initially sends him away, but then lets him in, where he meets Sherry and notices Grandma looks different and younger than before. Malcolm quickly takes him outside before he exposes them. While the Big Mama, actually Malcolm, is asleep, Sherry wakes her and tells her that two girls need her urgently. When the Big Mama goes to see who they are, they tell her that Rita is about to give birth, so she must come with them and assist because she's the midwife in the neighborhood. The Big Mama is unsure what to do, so John tells her he's called an ambulance and they're on their way. However, everyone is waiting for her to deliver Rita. The Big Mama asks them to fetch hot water, towels, and anything else from the kitchen. Rita gets upset with them because she's tired and they haven't delivered the baby yet. Eventually, Rita gives birth and thanks the Big Mama for helping her. The ambulance arrives to take Rita and the baby to check on their condition. The Big Mama rests from the effort of delivering the baby, and Sherry talks with her about the birth. Afterwards, Sherry gives her a necklace as a keepsake, so she'll have something to remember her if they part ways again. They go to sleep, and when Malcolm wakes up the next day, he finds the Big Mama's mask he was wearing is ruined. He removes it and intends to go to John, but finds Sherry awake. He tries to sneak out to go to John, but falls from the window onto a tree, causing the Big Mama's clothes and body to fall. He quickly pulls them up from the tree before Sherry sees them and runs away. However, Sherry sees him and Malcolm admits to her that he's an electrician and the Big Mama called him to fix the doorbell. He introduces himself to Sherry and she introduces herself and Trent, and they practice karate together. Afterwards, he goes to John's house to disguise himself again and realizes that everything they're doing is pointless and it's impossible for Sherry to talk about Lester in front of the Big Mama. At that moment, they see Sherry leaving the house, so Malcolm quickly disguises himself as the Big Mama again and goes after them. When he asks Sherry where she's going, she tells him she's taking Trent to play basketball and then going out for a bit. The Big Mama says she will go with them to watch over them. She struggles while getting into the car because of her weight. On the way, they meet Ben, who joins them in the car and gives her a valuable gift he's kept in the closet for years and has decided to give her now. However, the Big Mama's friends show up and take her away to go to a self-defense class. The trainer is Nolan, Rita's brother. When they arrive for the class, Nolan gives the seniors a hard time over training them. The Big Mama asks him to try his moves on her to get the chance to kick his ass. She hits Nolan hard, causing her wig to come off in his hand in front of everyone. Malcolm gets nervous and doesn't know what to say, especially since Sherry is watching. But then all the seniors also remove their wigs and say they want to be free too. Then they all attack Nolan and beat him up. At the same time, John is in the Big Mama's house searching for any lead or valuable evidence, but he doesn't find anything and walks before Sherry and the Big Mama return. When they return, they find Trent sitting playing basketball and upset. So the Big Mama tries to talk to him and tries to find out from him any information about Lester, but he tells her he doesn't know anything except his mother warned him not to talk about anything to anyone. When the Big Mama asks him what's bothering him, he tells her that the older kids on the basketball court were giving him a hard time. So his Big Mama gets upset, takes him to the park to confront those kids and challenges them to a basketball game. She plays against the kids, knocking them down and making them fall to the ground. Everyone watches as she beats them. Trent is happy that his Big Mama won and got revenge on the kids who bothered him. Afterwards, they return home and the Big Mama tells Sherry that Malcolm has been asking about her and suggests they spend some time together. After a while, Sherry goes out with Trent to fish and Malcolm joins them, claiming to be an expert fisherman. They invite him to come along and he agrees. They arrive at the boat, but Malcolm struggles to fish despite his earlier claims. He tries to get Sherry to talk about Lester, but she doesn't reveal any much of a good information. They spend the day together and return home late at night. At that moment, Nolan sees Malcolm leaving the Big Mama's house and heading to John's. There, John argues with Malcolm, reminding him that Sherry is a suspect, so he can't have feelings for her. Nolan then bursts into the house and upon entering is shocked to find the Big Mama's prosthetic leg, thinking they had cut it off. They have to explain the mission they are on. The next day, Sherry, the Big Mama, and Trent go to church. Everyone wants the Big Mama to speak because she is seen as a righteous woman. The Big Mama talks about secrets and sins that everyone hides, saying that the truth will set them free, indirectly encouraging Sherry to confess. Afterwards, she sings and dances and everyone enjoys the celebration. When they return home, the Big Mama hears a noise coming from inside the house. She draws her gun and opens the door, only to find the entire neighborhood gathered to celebrate her birthday. She explains that the gun is just for protection. They continue the party and everyone has a great time. The Big Mama hears a noise coming from Trent's room. She goes to check on him and finds him standing on a box doing something in the closet. She asks him to come down and go to his Big Mama. When she sees what he was doing, she finds an album with pictures of him, Sherry, and Lester. As she turns to leave, she accidentally knocks over the box, revealing a large amount of money. Later, Sherry comes to the Big Mama with a question about something in the kitchen. The Big Mama asks Sherry if she has anything she wants to confess, but Sherry says no. The Big Mama then cuts the necklace Sherry gave her and tells her she found Lester's stolen money in Trent's box. Sherry explains that Lester is the one responsible for it and that she has no part in it. She leaves to pack her things and leave, but the Big Mama follows her and asks her to trust her and tell her everything. Sherry explains that Lester tricked her into stealing the keys to the bank vault where she worked and that she had nothing to do with anything else. The Big Mama reassures her, saying that Lester is the one responsible for everything and that she is truly innocent. She tells Sherry that she will talk to Malcolm to help them. At that moment, John notices that the real Big Mama has arrived, so he tries to delay her as much as he can. However, she enters the house and finds everyone gathered for her birthday and is asked to come cut the cake. She tells them she will quickly change her clothes and be right back. Meanwhile, Malcolm disguised as the Big Mama comes from the other direction, and everyone is surprised at how quickly she managed to change her clothes. Sherry goes to look for her son, and when she enters his room, she finds him with Lester. Malcolm notices that Sherry is missing and goes to look for her outside the house. Nolan locks the door behind them, thinking that Malcolm is the real Big Mama. At that moment, Sherry comes downstairs with Lester and Trent and tells the real Big Mama that she needs to leave. But Nolan notices that Lester has a gun and pulls out his own gun to threaten him, but he drops the bullets. Malcolm swiftly breaks into the house and the two Big Mamas stand facing each other, causing everyone to be confused about why there are two Big Mamas. Malcolm swiftly breaks into the house, whereupon he tackles Lester and subdues him after John is shot, but at the cost of his disguise being ruined in front of everyone, including Sherry and Trent. After Lester is arrested and the money recovered, Malcolm finds that Sherry and Trent refuse to speak to him, heartbroken by his deception. Seeking forgiveness, Malcolm attends the Sunday morning church service, where he gives a heartfelt speech to Sherry and Trent, declaring he genuinely loves them. Big Mama forgives him for his actions, and the church crowd cheers as Malcolm and Sherry kiss before Big Mama and the choir sing "Oh Happy Day" during the film's closing credits. And that's it. If you like this recap, hit like, share, and subscribe to our channel to keep seeing content like this one. If you have any requests or thoughts, drop them below in the comment section, and we will see you at the next one. Peace out!